Well, and Black Lives Matter doesn't believe that Black Lives Matter. So
No.
if you're listening to this, let me be very clear. Black Lives Matter doesn't give two effing bleeps about Black lives. I'm going to speak as clearly right now as I will in this entire episode. This needs to be very clear.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter Incorporated doesn't give two flying bleeps about Black lives. And I'll give you 4 reasons. The first and most important, Reed, they're pro-abortion. Before Black Lives Matter got repopularized after George Floyd, because they were around before that, you remember, it was in the wake of the Ferguson or something like that. The killing of, what was his name?
Michael Brown.
Michael Brown. That's when Black Lives Matter got launched. By the way, it was launched on a lie. The entire movement and organization was launched on a lie.
According to Barack Obama's Justice Department.
Exactly. Thank you, Reed. That allegedly, he put his hands up and said, "Don't shoot." And so that became this shirt, right? It became this saying, "Hands up, don't shoot." Complete BS, was a total lie. He bum rushed the cop and tried to take his handgun out of the officer's belt. Okay, well, now you're fully justified to shoot that man. And that would hold true across racial lines. You don't get to try to take the handgun from an officer. I'm sorry, that's not how this works. Yeah. And that's true for all races. So firstly, the movement and organization launched on a lie, on a complete lie. Secondly, they're pro-abortion. They removed their pro-abortion language from their website, Reed, right after George Floyd. Why did they remove it? They probably recognized it wasn't such a good PR strategy to have all this stuff about abortion and killing Black babies on a website called blacklivesmatter.com. I viewed their website. I should have taken screenshots, but I viewed their website multiple times. I did research on them in 2017, 2018, all before George Floyd. Crazy reproductive justice euphemisms on their website. Okay, they removed it. Alicia Garza, one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter, Reed, teamed up with Cecile Richards a couple years ago. Who was Cecile Richards? The former president of Planned Parenthood. And a white lady, by the way. So if you want to adopt the premises of critical race theory, you'd actually be forced to condemn Planned Parenthood because it was led by a white racist who oversaw the greatest slaughter of unarmed Black lives in the world. Anyways, you're not supposed to say that. So they team up to start an organization called Supermajority. You can go to, there's still an organization, you can find them. So Supermajority's goal was to train up 2 million young women to be political abortion activists leading up to the 2020 election to get rid of Orange Man Bad, to get rid of Trump. So you've got the founder of an organization called Black Lives Matter teaming up with the biggest murderer of unarmed Black lives, Planned Parenthood, to train people to defend abortion, the number one killer of Black lives. Yeah. So Black America accounts for 30% of the American public. You know this. So what's half of that? So 6.5% would be women. Are all of those women of childbearing age? No. So 6.5% of women in America are Black women in America. Let's say 3% of them are of childbearing age. So 3% of the American public, Reed, obtains 37% of the abortions. Yeah. This is all through the CDC. This is all available online. So 3% of the American public responsible for 37% of the abortions. Planned Parenthood knows this, and that they get a disproportionate amount of their income from such a small sample size of the American citizenry. And so according to a study by Protecting Black Life, they put 79% of their surgical abortion facilities within walking distance of majority Black neighborhoods, fulfilling Margaret Sanger's dream, the racist eugenicist founder of Planned Parenthood, to control and decrease the Black population. Okay, so Black Lives Matter doesn't care about Black lives because the number one killer of Black lives is abortion. According to the Washington Post, 12 to 14 unarmed Black men were shot by police officers in 2019. Half of them were still dangerous. They just didn't have a firearm. They were still attacking the cop. So being most generous, you had about 6 unarmed Black men who were shot by police officers in 2019. And based off of that number, we're supposed to say America is systemically racist. What about 370,000 unarmed Black lives, Reed, who are womb lynched, who are lynched in the womb every year? And Planned Parenthood kills about 1,000 Black babies a day. Okay, yeah, or the abortion industry does, writ large. So Black Lives Matter doesn't care about Black lives because they're the number one killer of Black lives. They don't care about Black lives because they're silent on the Black on Black crime. Black on Black crime is actually the second number one killer of Blacks after abortion. It's other Black people killing other Black people. By the way, just so people don't accuse me of being a racist, the same thing's true of whites. Most people who kill white people are white people. So it's just sort of a statistical reality. So they're silent on Black crime, which is significantly more dangerous to Black lives than white police officers. They're also silent on the fatherlessness rate, which is the number one predictor of future crime and of whether you'll end up incarcerated. Where are the black fathers? They're silent on that. And lastly,
well, hey, just to interject, they're not technically silent on that because they actually said something and they also erased that from their website too. But they don't believe in the nuclear family.
This to disrupt the Western contrived notion of the nuclear family. What does that mean? Fathers in the home. It means mothers and fathers. So they've actually said essentially that they don't like black fathers. So, but black fathers matter as well. And then lastly, they actually oppose school choice. Did you know this, Reed? They oppose school choice like most Democrats do. School choice is the best way for children in low performing schools to get into better schools. And the worst performing schools tend to be in large Democrat run cities. Where do most black Americans live? In large Democrat run cities. So the best thing to help black lives is to support the choice of their parents to put them in a different area of the city that they don't live in a better school. And they oppose that as well. So listeners, listen, wake up, okay? Black Lives Matter, it's just a linguistic cudgel because it sounds good. Black Lives Matter, who could be opposed to that? It's a linguistic cudgel to hit you over the head over and over and over again. And so if you say you're opposed to the mission of Black Lives Matter, they say, what, are you a racist? You don't believe Black Lives Matter? No, I actually do believe Black Lives Matter, which is why I'm pro-life. I'm for school choice. I want more black fathers in the home. And I want the black on black violence to end. All of the things that Black Lives Matter is on the other side of. So that we just need to say that very clear because woke cowardice pastors like Carl freaking Lentz, who cheats on his wife and goes on to the show with is it Whoopi Goldberg or whatever, The View.
Oh, The View.
And is asked about abortion, and he says it's a private issue. I would just ask, yeah, whatever. God doesn't care. God loves you no matter what. These kind of woke pastors who say we need to talk about Black Lives Matter, none of them talk against abortion.